Welcome back to more Sonic Adventure 2 Battle! Last time we finished up the hero side of the story, so now it's time for the dark side. And I do remember liking the hero side more because it has more Sonic stages than anything else, and the dark side has more Eggman stages than anything else, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Let's go ahead and jump in and see how it plays. I think the Eggman stages are going to be much better, shall we say, designed or prepared than the Tails stages were. And I still enjoyed the Tails stages though, so...
Direction of the underground base. All units prepare to engage. Emergency battle formations. Standard battle procedures initiated. Locate and stop the intruder from entering the security area. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill.
That was all. Let's take a look at what my grandfather was working on. A top secret military weapon. The military shut down the research because they feared it.
Yeah, so the dark story is going to take place a good ways before the hero story chronologically. So, in the dark story we're going to get a lot better look at the, say, inner machinations of what was driving the plot the entire time, shall we say. But right off here at the bat, it looks like we have a level that is aesthetically very similar to Prison Lane, which is the first stage that Tails had back in the hero storyline, and sometimes I even get confused. I mean, this one is a bit more dark, shall we say, like literally, like everything's a bit darker than Prison Lane was, but the corridors and hallways look pretty similar, so I think that's more of a case of the Tails stages borrowing from the Eggman stages instead of vice versa, because like I said back when we were playing as Tails, from what I understand, Tails was indeed a last-minute addition, so it would make sense that a lot of his stages would be heavily borrowed from what Eggman already had if they were, shall we say, rushing in order to get the Tails stages out while the Eggman stages had already been prepared. But, I mean, Eggman is going to play pretty much identical to Tails. I think throughout the course of the main story we're going to have a few different upgrades, but other than that, by different upgrades, I mean, they're kind of just, they're not even that important. I mean, we're still going to get like the, ah man, I missed the golden beetle. We're going to get things like the booster that allows us to hover, the upgrade to the Vulcan cannon that allows us to break those type of boxes right there, speak of the double, and things like that. So there really is no difference between Eggman and Tails functionally, except the amount of stages that we are going to have. Unfortunately, we're going to have more Eggman stages than we are going to have Shadow stages, which kind of sucks because I like the high-speed action stages more than anything else in this game, which I'm sure literally everyone who played this game probably thinks the same, but that's not the case. I think whereas Sonic had 6 stages in the hero story, Shadow only has 4 here in the dark story, which, you know, is too bad. I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it, though, because on the whole, whereas I do think the Knuckles and Sonic stages are definitely better than the Rouge and Shadow stages, the Knuckles and Sonic stages are better than Rouge and Shadow, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I always say the Eggman stages per capita are better than the Tails stages, but enough of that. How about we focus on what we are actually doing right here, which is breaking into a top-secret government military facility? I think it's more of a military one. From what I understand, Gun is actually separate. Well, I should say within this continuity, just the context of this game. Gun as a military organization is actually independent of the American government, shall we say? Because there's like a Mr. President, so it's safe to assume that it is indeed the American government that we're talking about here, at least the equivalent to that. So we're not in a government facility, we are in a military facility. I didn't really have that pointed out to me until I rewatched that in-depth story explanation review that I was alluding to during the hero storyline, and I actually memorized the guy's name whenever I watched the videos, and I freaking forgot. I am going to have to look that up at some point because it really is a fantastic video, and I might just plug the guy here in the description for like the 5 people that are going to watch this video and actually care. But yeah, so Gun in its entirety is separate from, wait, do I have to, yeah, I gotta activate this thing, right? Oh yeah, I have to wait for the doors to actually close before we do that. And luckily we can use the the high-powered rocket the Gun had sitting just before its maximum security door lock, which is great. Okay, just go ahead and explode that and shoot it over there, yeah. Yeah, this video concluded that the military, or at least Gun, is indeed separate from the government because it seems that the president is not, shall we say, briefed on what is going on facilities or in facilities such as this, being gun facilities, so keep that in mind. That's something that the game doesn't really convey to you in the English translation, unfortunately.
Piece of cake.
And it looks like my streak of having a B during all the opening stages is going to continue, unfortunately. I think my best shot for an A is probably going to be the first Shadow stage, or maybe the first Rouge stage. Speak of the devil. Actually, no, I forgot. I think we have something that's going to occur before the first Rouge stage.
So this is the military's top secret weapon. It's a lot smaller than I expected. Enter user data. Enter password. Password is Maria. Maria. Now all I have to do is to place the Chaos Emerald into this console. Trying to spoil my plans again. Wait, you're not Sonic. This is impossible.
My name is Shadow. Since you were so kind to release me, my master, I will grant you one wish.
Now, what?
Behold the true power I possess.
Yeah, so actually our first experience as playing as Shadow is going to be a boss fight, which is pretty much identical to the one that Sonic fought right after City Escape in the opening of the hero story, being Hotshot. For him, I think it was Bigfoot, for Sonic anyway. Yeah, while we're fighting this boss that is pretty much identical to one we already fought, how about we go over a few things real quick? I think it's really... you know, that's one of the common criticisms of the plot is like, how do people possibly mistake Sonic for Shadow or Shadow for Sonic, and how does that happen to Eggman as well? So, you know, and that's something that, you know, I always just kind of passed aside as like, oh, whatever, it's just the plot being kind of silly. But then, you know, I kind of thought about it a bit more after it was explained to me through that video a bit more. I'm like, yeah, so how many anthropomorphic, like, super fast hedgehogs are there in this universe exactly? There's one, right? So if you were just a regular person and you kind of lived in this world and you only knew one super fast anthropomorphic hedgehog, if you saw another one, wouldn't you automatically assume it's Sonic? But then the other criticism is like, okay, so like how do you possibly get Shadow and Sonic confused when one is red and black and the other is just pure blue? Well, let's also remember that the last time that a lot of people saw Sonic within this canon, it was Sonic Adventure, which is when Sonic went super and fought Chaos within the ruins of Station Square. And he wasn't blue when that happened, he was actually yellow. So is it that much of a stretch of the imagination that something may have happened, again, from the position as just a regular person, that Sonic had become black and red, you know? Plus, Shadow's silhouette is the exact same as Supersonic's. And no, it's true, look at it.
Bring more Chaos Emeralds.
Shadow, wait!
I'll be waiting for you in the central control room on the Space Colony Ark.
Ark.
Well, we know what Ark is, don't we? And here we go, this is what I was thinking of. Well, you've seen this cutscene before.
Just let it go. You just don't know when to give up, do you?
What are you talking about? That emerald's mine. You got that? The Master Emerald contains special powers that neutralize the energy of the Chaos Emeralds. That makes it very powerful.
What the? What? Thief!
Look who's calling who a thief.
Signal from the Emerald. If I'm not mistaken, this is the Master Emerald signal.
Dr. Eggman.
So that's Dr. Eggman.
I decided to for something. I'll just take it with me. Farewell, knucklehead.
Not if I can help it.
What was that all about? And look what you did to my emerald!
I did that to prevent the Master Emerald from being stolen, you idiot. If it's in pieces, I can restore it. And by the way, that's not your emerald.
once I get back to the base.
I despise anyone who takes jewels from me. All the world's gems are mine to keep.
Yeah, we'll see about that, Batgirl.
So here we go, Rue Stage number 1. And I should preface right from the beginning that I'm far more familiar with the hero side stages than the dark side. Whenever I come back to just kind of casually play this game, it is almost exclusively the hero stages. But Rouge is going to control the exact same as Knuckles, and I'm gonna get like extreme lucky here. Holy crap. I don't think an Emerald piece could ever kiss you on the lips as much as that one. But Rouge's first level here is divided into 2 principal areas. The first one is the one that we are in right now. And it looks like I'm not getting any more Emerald signals around here. So the way that we access the second one is that we have to free this little turtle guy from these 2 gun robots. And we do that. This little turtle guy should crawl to the center of that small pond. And then we can ride to the second part of the stage. So yeah, this is Rouge the Bat making her appearance. Okay, what do I have to press the... There we go. I have to press the square button. Well, this is Rouge the Bat making her first appearance within the Sonic series, and, I mean, she's an interesting character. I mean, so let's address the elephant in the room, like the elephant in the room. That is a strange character design. I don't really know what they were thinking. So was the process like, okay, in this children's game about an anthropomorphic blue hedgehog, we want a very, very curvy bat character, and I'm sure the increased curves in the chest area are just a reference to bats being mammals, right? You know, they feed their young with milk, right? Right? I don't really know what they were going for that, and I don't really know where this emerald is, because I'm getting like a yellow signal around here. Okay, maybe it's just over here, yeah. Too busy blabbering on to actually pay attention. This is kind of reminiscent of Knuckles' opening stage too, now that I think about it. Okay, where is this emerald? You know, I got so lucky with the first one, not so much the second one, I suppose. But, aside from the questionable design, which has been toned down in recent years, and I can't really see... Oh, it's underwater, isn't it? Which has been toned down in recent years, I can't really say that, you know, I dislike Rouge as a character or anything. I mean, if anything else, she is definitely different from the rest of the cast, you know? Just this very, not childish character, you know? Kind of a very, suggestive, suave type of treasure hunter girl, I guess? What I'm trying to say is that I like her addition to the cast because of what she brings as a character, kind of her ethos, her gravitas, her temperament, I guess, despite the questionable actual character design. There we go, look at that.
Perfect, like me?
Of course I get an A. But, I like her primarily because, at least in this game, she's such a contrast to Knuckles. I think having a good foil for him, like another treasure hunter, someone who has similar abilities, it's a really good addition to the cast for the sake of having a quote-unquote dark counterpart to Knuckles there. We'll go about that, go more on that later, I suppose. As unfortunately, the nature of Rouge is one of the things that the English translation botched the most, which has led to a lot of confusion. But here we go, Eggman stage number 2. Yeah, we were gonna get 2 Eggman stages before we even get 1 Shadow stage. So yeah, that's how things are going to go right here, and it's a desert stage. If you guys remember back in the hero story, the desert stage was my least favorite one as Tails because, well, some of the jumps were just a tad bit finicky, and I just wasn't very good at the stage, to be brutally honest. You know, I was gabbering on a bit too much and wasn't really paying attention. But I believe in this one we are actually going to get that booster upgrade, just like we did in the second level for Tails as well, which will make things a bit more manageable. But I think the level design, as far as like the desert stage is concerned, is going to be better than it was back in Tails' at the very least. But you know, I went on about Rouge for a little while and how, you know, I don't love Rouge or anything like that, but I appreciate her addition to the game and to just the Sonic cast in general. Let's go ahead and talk about Eggman in this game. I mean, I don't think it's really exaggeratory to say that I think this is probably the best Eggman in Sonic history. I mean, let's think about the Dr. Eggmans in recent years, right? You know, starting... You know, let's just go all the way to Generations. Let's go ahead and cover the past decade. You know, we had Sonic Generations, we had Sonic Colors, Sonic Lost World, and Sonic Forces. I mean, it really is a shame just what a comedic relief joke Eggman has kind of really become in recent years. And to add on that, I really hate, like, what Orbot and Cubot, like the 2 robots that have been featured heavily as being, like, right next to Eggman since Sonic Colors. I really despise those 2. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Eggman should have, you know, an air of levity to him. I mean, he is a morbidly obese mad scientist, right? I mean, he's got goofy origins, and his design was meant to be kind of goofy from the get-go, but I also don't think, you know, he shouldn't be this boisterous, non-threatening, funny guy villain. I definitely think he should have some edge to him, especially when the plot calls for it, and I think this game, more than any other game in the series, now that I think about it, like, honestly and truly, does the best job of kind of combining the type of levity that the design demands, with, like, the seriousness that makes it to where, you can somewhat consider the plot, like, serious and play the plot straight. I mean, later games like Colors and Lost World do just such a disservice to him, I think, almost an insult to his intelligence, honestly, to where, I don't know, even though he turned out to be, like, the main bad guy in those games, I just never really took him seriously, you know? And then that's not even, I mean, the opposite side of that is Sonic 06, where he's just such a one-dimensional, boring character because he wants to rule the world, and there's, like, nothing to him. And this game, as we'll see later, like, he definitely has some funny moments to him, and they're not very explicit, you know, they're kind of subtle in some ways, and not so subtle in other ways, but what I'm trying to say is that I think this game really did the best of, like, juggling Eggman as the mad scientist, as the genius with a IQ of over 300, I believe it is, like someone who really is head and shoulders above everyone else in intelligence, and a goofy bad guy who does have his origins in, like, a Saturday morning cartoon-esque type of design, you know, what he was with that design starting back in the original Sonic. So, you know, it may have been a bit premature to talk about that, but I figured since, you know, we already in Eggman Stage number 2 now was as good of a time as any to actually talk about it. And yeah, that's the jumps that I was worried about in this level. Thankfully, it's not going to send me too far back, I think. Yeah, this is a good ways back. Oh boy, I hope we get that booster pretty soon. Alright, let's see if I can do a better job this time. Although it felt like I kinda glitched through the corner right there, game. Was that really my fault? I'll just be sure to stay in the center this time. I think we are, like, really close to getting the booster, too. At least I believe that's this level. No, that's not this level. We're gonna get the booster in the next Eggman level, actually. Yeah, it's all coming back to me. I believe there is an optional upgrade we could get in this level, but I'm gonna have to come back with, like, some different armaments or different armaments myself, or something like that. But what I'm trying to get to is, yeah, I just feel like this game strikes a really good balance between what I believe kind of makes a good Eggman, you know? And once again, I want to kind of commend the Sonic movie for doing what I believe to be the same, you know? And now when Jim Carrey, you know, everyone really rolled their eyes when Jim Carrey got cast as that, and like, oh great, he's gonna be another parody of himself, and he's doing it for the paycheck, and, you know, Carrey's prime as an actor has been over for, like, what, 15 years? Some would argue 20 years, even, but I feel like Carrey, you know, he was his usual goofy self, right? But I think the writing and what that character actually did kind of lend credence to the fact that, yeah, this guy isn't just a bumbling fool. Like, he's very intelligent, he's very manipulative, he's very smart, so, again, once again, want to, like, just say good job to the movie, you know, the kids movie. You know, was now created for me, honestly, but if we could just kind of, like, translate that over, like movie Jim Carrey Robotnik over the games, that would be great. Ooh, an E ranking this early. I guess that's what I get for dying, huh? And really, the solution is not just to make Eggman more serious all the time. I mean, he was that in Sonic Forces, but there was nothing else to him. Like, he wasn't really entertaining. He was kind of like a Sonic 06 type Eggman.
The Chaos Emerald in the Space Colony Ark. I've got to find out just what's going on up there.
We interrupt this broadcast for an important news flash. There has been a break-in at the Federal Reserve Bank today. Mysteriously, the only thing that was stolen was the Chaos Emerald. According to eyewitnesses at the scene, the suspect was identified as the world-renowned hero, Sonic the Hedgehog. The suspect was seen fleeing the scene, destroying the reserve's guard robots in his path. Stay tuned for more details.
Like the work of Shadow.
Again, if there's only one supersonic anthropomorphic hedgehog in the world, I think it's pretty reasonable for people to assume that would be Sonic and not, you know, a second anthropomorphic super speed hedgehog.
Find them before they escape!
Maria!
What?
Shadow, I beg of you. Please, do
Maria.
it for me. for all the people on that planet. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
I still remember what I promised you. For the people of this planet, I promise you. Revenge!